Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Candace and I'm figuring out my finances one step at a time. I put my hair up because it's really hot, but in today's video we're going to talk about the cost of paying off debt versus investing. So I wanted to talk about this today because it's been really on my mind, like should I be paying more or saving more towards like retirement and stuff. Right now, I invest in my 401k through work, and I do receive my full employer match plus pay credits. So my employer matches up to 5% of your pay, plus they automatically give you 3% with their pay credits. The pay credits, you don't actually need to invest in the 401k plan. Just because you're an employee, they give you a 3% pay credit in your retirement account. Now, the thing that has been racking my brain is, should I be saving more for retirement? And I should be, but at what cost is what I'm trying to figure out. One of my friends told me that I should completely stop paying my student loans and just invest that $1,600 towards my retirement. So put it in, first max out my Roth IRA that I have, and then go ahead and what's the other thing? Open another like investing account. So whether that's through Vanguard, Fidelity, Schwab, whatever, just open another traditional account for investing that's not technically for retirement. The part that I'm having trouble with is the fact that my student loans accrue so much in interest. Like, it's a lot of money, $845 ish. Well, it went down a little bit, but I'll tell you in a second. Over $800 a month in interest, which is really in my mind like $12,000 a year added on to the total that I already have. So in 3 years, we'd be at like $196,000, whereas I could be about $60,000 less than my total is now if I continue to pay the $1,600 a month. All right, I had to get my laptop so I can make sure that I am saying what's actually true on here. So I'm logging into the Ed Financial website, where that's my student loan servicer. All my student loans are through Ed Financial. And as of today, we are at $160,370.62. So in my head, if I paid that $1,600 a month like I've been doing, it's actually $1,692, so it'll be a little bit more. For the next 3 years, I would be a little bit below $100K. And then also by that point, my loans wouldn't be accruing so much interest. So I've said this before, but my 5 biggest loans accrue 75% of the interest, which is like crazy. Okay, so now a month, well, I always do it for 30 days because most months besides February has at least 30 days in them. So where's the calculator? Oh, here we go. Okay, so in a month now, when I first started this, my interest was $845 a month, but now we're down to $835. So we lowered it by $10. Very excited. But okay, let's see. For my top 5 loans, or my 5 biggest loans, we're at, for interest for 30 days, $79.65 plus $136.04 plus $98.63 plus $142.13 plus $118.70. That's $575.13 worth of interest from my 5 biggest loans. Everything else has like a small number of interest. The next highest amount of interest for a month would be a loan that accrues $37. Like, okay, so it's $575. So we're going to subtract 835.57. So I have 20 loans left because I already paid. Where's the 21? However many loans I have left, when you subtract 5 of them, $260 a month. Like, that's so much more reasonable. But in order to get to that point where they're only accruing $260 in interest, I have to pay off these high balances first. So let's add that up really quick. $93,563.70. That's how much my 5 biggest loans are. Okay? So, I think I said it in my last video that I was planning on changing my student loan payment strategy. So, I was putting all of my $1,600 towards loan 118 because that was the one that was accruing the most interest alone. So, it was like $140 something a month, which was the biggest because it's my actual biggest loan. I've paid all the interest off on that, and maybe it has like $200 in interest, not that much right now, but I've paid all of that interest down. So it's still accruing $100 something a month in interest, but it's not like I have unpaid interest on the loan, which, does that really matter? Yeah, I don't know. What I've changed my strategy to is I'm going to pay my 2 loans that have the 9% interest rate. So that's my $14,000 loan, and then I had, it was $12,000, but I paid $1,600 towards it for March, and so now we're at $10,704.64. Why am I doing this, you ask? Okay, so when I add up loan 120 and 202, which are my 2 9% loans, we're at a total of $25,298.16. Loan 118 now is a little bit more than $21,000. It's like 21,600 something. So obviously these come out to be just a little bit more than loan 118 by itself. Okay, following me? So when I add up the interest for these 2 loans, we end up with $178.28, whereas 118 by itself is $142.13. So in my head now, it makes more sense to pay these off in like kind of like a snowball or something, because together they accrue more interest than loan 118, but in total they're about the same amount. So I'll pay them off at about the same timeline. So if I keep paying $1,600 towards this balance here, it'll take me about 15 months, which is a little bit over a year, which really and truly I probably could do it a little bit before then if I increase my payment like $100 or so, which is doable. But let's keep talking. So I pulled up this investment calculator, and honestly, do I know how good this is? No, but we're working with what we got and what I do know. So let's say my starting amount is $1,600. Say I'm investing in a completely new account that I'm just funding. And this, I put the timeline for 2 years because I can't do it in months. The return rate, we put it at 6%, compounding continuously, and we're going to additionally contribute $1,600 each month. Okay. So with the results, and I will put them on the screen somewhere, the end balance would end up being around $42,705 after 2 years. And the total contributions on my end, though, would be $38,400, whereas the interest that I would accrue or gain would be $2,705.07. That is if we get all the gains, because sometimes when you are investing, you lose money as well. So none of that is guaranteed. Whereas with my student loans, for those 2 loans specifically, I have a for sure gain of 9% because I'm reducing my balance. So therefore that 9% is not going to be accruing in the future. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. Another caveat that I have, which is kind of like hindering me from making a full-blown decision, is that student loan payments and repayment plans are going to be changing this summer. So I don't know if I'll have to move to a different plan. I know eventually I have to recertify for my income. Maybe some people I heard don't have to do it. Some people do have to do it. So I don't really know how that's going to affect my payment. My payment could possibly actually go up because right now my mandatory payment I think is about $200. But since I've been paying the $1,600, I only have to pay the $92.50 towards all the student loans that I don't make the balloon payment to. So going forward, like I don't know what my payment plan is going to be, but I do have possibilities. Okay, so I did all this calculations and stuff with a financial, I want to call them an advisor, but I don't know if that's the technical term. But at my job, we have access to this program called Financial Finance, and they will help you with your financial goals. So you can just call in at any time during their hours and you can present them with a problem or a question and they'll help walk you through it. So this is the calculator that he gave me to help try to determine how much my student loan payment could be. Okay. So it has on here your family size, when did you start paying on your income driven repayment plan, and I actually need to change this because that should be 2025, not 6. Okay. What rate of return do you think you can get on your investments? I always say 6%. The estimated combined federal state, I don't even know really what that means. But I just left it at whatever was in the box, which is 40. How much debt do you owe? And my current AGI, which I'm just gonna put my salary in here because I don't know what my AGI was. Do I work for the government? No. And then what's the average rate of all my student loans? The average is like a little bit over 6% for me. I skipped all this refinancing stuff because I don't really think that's an option because rates are so high right now. Do you want to forecast your income to grow? Sure. Inputs for spouse? None. Okay. So when you look, oh my God. Okay, so here's my student loan repayment summary, okay? As you see, these are the new plans. They have RAP, which I think the standard plan, no. I don't know which plan, the RAP one. There's a plan that we have now that is changing to RAP. I can't remember which one it is. But like, as you see, over in the far right, is it might be left when I post it on the screen. No, it should still be right. I don't know. But the years your loans are forgiven or paid off. You see, I'm not looking at the refinancing row because, like I said, you don't actually know what your interest rate would be. So I'm not going to mess with that right now. But the soonest we have is 2036, which is 10 years from now. But it also has the lowest total payments outside of refinancing. So when we scroll down a little bit, we see what your monthly payment would be. And on a standard 10-year plan, my monthly payment would be $17.76, which really and truly like isn't much more than what I'm already paying, but it's gonna be, spread across my loans versus focusing on my specific loans, which I feel like is going to end up making me pay a lot more interest versus what I need to. So let's see if we can use chat to forecast this. So nothing that I recorded in the last 20 minutes got recorded. So let me see if I can remember what I was saying. Okay. My comparison. So for the standard repayment plan, my total pay should be around $213K and the interest is around $52K. According to chat, if I do it my way and I just avalanche it, I would pay somewhere between $200 and $210K, which could be a savings of 5-ish to $15K in interest. But we don't know, like I said, what my plan is going to be, when they're going to force me to change, none of that. So I I can't make like a full blown decision because I don't have all the information. So here's what we are going to do. We have my yearly budget plan that I got from Budget for Five with Stephanie. And have I looked at this since the last time I posted it? Probably not. But it is good for like now helping me kind of forecast what my budget's going to be. So some things to highlight here. On row 7, I have my rent. And if you see in column H, the rent goes up to $1,650. Why? I'm moving and I have 3 apartments that I'm choosing from. The most expensive is $1,650 a month. It's literally my favorite. There's really only like one thing that's a caveat for me, but it's a big one thing. It's not like I can just get over it one thing. So I have to think about like, I need them to give me some clarity to be able to say yes or no. This same apartment also has a unit that's $1,525. Still has the same caveat, but you know, really the features are just a little bit upgraded in the one that's $1,650. And I have access to a couple more things that I wouldn't have access to at the $1,525. So that's really neither here nor there, but those are 2 options. I have an option at another building that's $1,450, and for reference, I paid $1,354 or $52. How much is my rent? $1,352 a month for my rent. It says $1,354 on here. I'm not about to change it right now. So that was like $100 more than what I pay, but there's some things that I have to like work around. Are they workable? Yes, but I have to work around them, which I don't really like want to do, especially when like the apartment I live in now, within the apartment itself, I don't have to like work around anything. It's really like the neighbors in the complex that I don't like here, or else I would just stay. I also have one more option, which is actually cheaper. I want to say that one was $1,235, and really there's nothing wrong with that apartment. Like, it just has like several things that don't check my boxes. None of them are like detrimental, but like out of all of them, probably was like my least favorite visually and like building wise, but it wasn't horrible. You know, the 2 things that I don't like is that the doors are outside. They're not like in the building. So it's not like, you know, secured. Anyone could just walk up to my door, and then the stairs to the building are outside as well. Well, obviously if the doors are, the stairs are. So I don't really like that either. There's no elevators. So like if I have cases of water or something, I have to carry them upstairs. And it's not a deal breaker because I've done it before. I just don't want to do it, you know? But so that's that. That's why I have the rent at $1,650, just so I can forecast if I was paying this much in rent, how much would I have left at the end of the month. Now down below in rows 31 and 32, this is kind of like what my hybrid decision is right now as far as paying debt and investing. I don't want to stop paying towards my student loans because it just gives me so much anxiety to see the amount balloon so much each month. So if I stick with the $1,600 payment, at least through the end of this year, I can save $300 a month and I can invest $500 a month. And when I say invest, like I have a Roth IRA that I can contribute to for investing starting in April for the full year. That would be $4,500. I think the Roth is either, the limit is like $7,000 or $7,500. I think it might have went up this year. I don't know. But that would be $4,500, and then like I could take some money from my bonus at the beginning of the year and, you know, top it off. So, or I could increase my investment in my 401k, and then I would be bringing home a little bit less, but it also will lower my taxable income so that, you know, my taxes would be a little bit lower, which would be kind of nice. And then that would help me stay on a lower student loan payment for the next year. Like, you know, there are some things that we can do. We can work around this, or we could split up investment wise. Maybe I do half and half, and I add $250 to my 401k, and then I add $250 to my Roth IRA, or I just open any other type of like investment account. So, we have options. Savings, $300 a month. That'll give me $2,700 by the end of the year, which I think is a good amount for just like general savings. I just need to be putting that money aside. Now, if you look here at row 38, the issue is once I start paying $1,650 in rent, we don't have no money left over. And this is not including any of my like dilly dally spending. Okay. So like that didn't include me buying something random at the gas station. It doesn't include me like buying clothes or shoes, or I might go on a trip and I need to buy my luggage. It doesn't include none of that stuff. So that's going to be a problem. And depending upon which apartment I choose, it could be an easy fix by, obviously just not choosing the most expensive apartment. Or if I do choose the most expensive apartment, money got to come from somewhere. So either I need to make some more, or I need to spend a little less. And I don't know what on here besides my Pilates, which I have to pay for till October, would give me, the room. Unless I pay a little less on one of these items down here in the purple, which would be really, that would be the only option to take away from. And I know someone's gonna be like, oh, don't get your nails done, don't get your feet done. I'm not doing that. Like, it's not an option. Sorry. So we'll see. I have to make some decisions. Once I know like which apartment I'm going to, which hopefully I'll know kind of soon, I can, redo this, make some changes, blah, blah, blah. But this is like worst case scenario. So yeah, well, that's what we'll call it. This is a best and worst case scenario, because really, if I do choose a cheaper apartment, that's gonna be spending money. I don't know why I'm lying. It'll be spending money, not more other stuff. So, like I said before, going forward, I'm gonna print this out actually so I can have it as I budget for April and May. And I'm also gonna try to do some videos where I go over my spending for January, February, and March, so I can actually see like outside of my bills what was I spending on, and so we can account for all of my unaccounted for spending. Because I know like I definitely will go to the gas station and get some candy, or I get some snacks at work, or like all of a sudden I want some Starbucks, so I get that. There's all these just things that I probably spent on. So we need to take into account how much are we spending each month just on stuff that I can't even remember. So I want to do a video on that. Maybe it'll be one video, maybe it'll be 3 separates. I don't know. But I am going to do that in April. And then we'll just kind of see. Maybe I do have a little more wiggle room than I thought. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching my video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye. I'm editing my video, and on my tracker thing, I forgot that I also pay for laser now, because I'm getting my tattoos lasered, which is honestly why I have on this shirt, because they're sensitive. I got it done yesterday. But that's $110 a month, so it's going to be on the sheet now. So the totals will look a little bit different now that that is included. So